Right. Life is an interesting thing. Throughout life, we have witnessed a lot of things. There's a lot of events that happen in Earth, right? But one of them is very different. That one happened when a man came to this planet, and that man itself lived a certain type of life that he became so famous that his fame was so widespread that he was able to even divide the times, right? And that man is Jesus Christ. That man became now the model of our life as Christians. We call ourselves Christians because we're trying to copy what that man had lived. That man's life was the absolute expression what good is, what love is. And therefore, looking at his life, we can see what God intended for us to be just by looking at what he did. He was absolute good in himself. He was completely human being, but a human being that was able to fulfill the goodness in him. So therefore it's important for us to see, because he is just like you and me. He was flesh, he died, he cried, he ate, he slept, everything you do, he did. But how come he was so good in what he did that he became so famous, so great, that 2,000 years after he died, here we are in group talking about him again. So therefore there's something important to look at his life. And as he came to this planet, right, not that type of life he lived brought him a lot of problems, and we know many people didn't like him. Not because he did anything wrong, he was just living what God wanted you and me to do. And he got in a lot of problems, not only with humans, but also with powers that are out there that do influence our lives, however we don't see them. Just the fact that we don't see them, that doesn't mean that they don't act in our life. All right. Now, once upon a time, this man, after 30 years of living his quiet life, he decided, like, I want to go public. I want to go out there and show to more people how it is to be good, how it is to live with love. And an interesting thing, just make a quick summary, he also was a very good teacher. And his style of teaching was very, very different. Now, let's see one of his aspects. One of them is in the scripture readings that my sister just read, and I'll read it for you. So in the book of Matthew, Matthew was one of the disciples who saw him, and he decided to write a biography of his life. He said there was a time in his life that he gathered around a group of people and he started to give a sermon. That's called the famous Sermon of the Mount. And in the middle of that sermon, he spoke something that struck me in a specific way. And it is in Matthew 7, verse 12. He said, therefore, all things whatsoever ye would that men should do to you, do ye even to them, for this is the law and the prophet. I think, my sister, you read in a different version, right?
King James. Yes.
This is the King James. Right. So basically, in another word, whatever you want it to be done unto you, do it unto others. And he said, and this is what caught my attention, this is the law and the prophet. I said, what's going on here? 2 words. And you say this is the law and the prophet? And I'm like, okay, I want to know what is a law and prophet. Well, in a simple word, the law and the prophet is this book.
That's right.
He said, that 2 words that he said, those 2 sentences, whatever you want it, whatever you wish to be done unto you, do it unto others. And he said, that is the whole Bible. I say, I don't understand this. There's like, 66 books or something. And he said, all 60 books, 66 books is these 2 sentences. And I'm like, and I was like, I wonder why he said that. What made him say so? Well, it happened he was in this place, and he was a good person, he was out there doing good. And from experience, even in today's world, if you try to do good, you will find a position. People will come after you, will start to point finger, oh, he's just trying to do that for money. Oh, he's trying to show off, or whatever, right? There was those kind of opposition in that time. And as he was teaching, let me just take you a little bit in the context. He first gave the Sermon of the Mount, before he was baptized. And then after being baptized, he was tempted. And after being tempted, he chose his disciples. And after choosing his disciples, he had the whole multitude, and he started with his sermon. He said, "Blessed are ye who suffer, and blessed are you who are persecuted. Blessed are the poor, because these are going to see the God. Blessed are the sincere of heart." And he kept on going. It's a whole chapter. We won't have time to go all over it, but let's just go in one of the aspects that happened right before this sentence. And he said, "Judge not," while he was continue saying, "Judge not, that ye be not judged. For with what judgment ye judge, ye shall be judged. And with what measure ye make, it shall be measured to you. And why beholdest thou the mote that is in thy brother's eyes, but considerest not the beam that is in your own eyes? Or how wilt thou say to thy brother, Let me pull out the mote out of thine eyes, and behold, a beam is in thine own eyes? Thou hypocrite, first cast out the beam out of thine own eyes, and then shalt thou see clearly to cast out the mote out of thy brother's eyes. Give not that which is holy unto the dogs, neither cast ye your pearls before swine, lest they trample them under their feet, and turn again and rend you. In a simple word, he was trying to lead those people to first of all look at themselves. Look at you. Before you try to go out and save the world, try to save yourself first. Look at yourself, what you have inside. And then they continue. Ask, and it shall be given to you. Seek, and you shall find. Knock, and it shall be opened unto you. For everyone that asketh, receive. And he that seeketh, find. And to whom that knocketh, it shall be opened. Or what man is there of you whom his son asketh a bread, will give him a stone? Or if he asks a fish, will give him a serpent? If ye being evil, that's another point here. He's saying to everybody, if ye being evil, know how to give good gifts unto your children, how much more shall your Father which is in heaven give good things to them that ask him? And then it comes the sentence, therefore, therefore is emphasizing everything he said before. And then he said, therefore, all things whatsoever you would that man should do to you, do ye so to them, for this is the law and prophet. So, you just heard what he said. Look at yourself first. Clean your eyes first. Before you go point the other people's finger, make sure you have nothing, right? And then he said, therefore, whatever you want somebody to do something to you, you do it, right? And then he continues. Enter ye, he continues explaining this same area. Enter ye in the straight gate. For wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many there be which go therein. Because straight is the gate, and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it. Now, how do you conciliate that with went back to this because he said, whatsoever you would that men should do to you, do ye even so to them, for this is the law and prophet. Okay, if I understand this, that means I have understood the whole Bible, because Jesus in his style of teaching is always emphatical. He summarizes the law. He's always putting things narrowing in one place. And let me just stop right here and then just speaking about the narrow gate. Just right after he did, he said, the narrow gate is the one that leads you to life. And then how do you conciliate with that phrase, whatsoever you want it to be done, do it what? That means if I want to eat food, and then my sister suddenly break a bread and give it to me, she served me a bread, right? But then me thinking I have to do that, it's an act of submission, right? It's an act that, okay, I need to get out of my comfort zone because I'll have to make a bread for her. So that is not comfortable usually. In our nature, we want the easy things in life, the finest and the easy and the good things in life, right? But try to put yourself in someone's shoes and you try to go the distance to help someone. It's always a huge battle in human mind. Our will tend to claim the supreme power in our head. We always want to be, I want to be the center of the equation. I want everybody to do me a favor. But it's so hard when we have to do that favor into someone. That is what a narrow gate is. It's not a literal kind of place. It's just simply that. And just like Jesus did, the more, if you see his life, the more he went out to do things, he never did anything for his own self. Always he was doing something in anticipation of somebody else's need. Like oftentimes he would go down the street, he already knew he's going to heal a blind, right, or a deaf, or somebody who, whatever happened, right? He was always living that type of life. Now, and he wouldn't even sleep most of the time. As soon as he's done, he would go out there and sleep. Just like what happened here. While he was preaching, he just came out of the desert. He didn't eat for 40 days. And there he is giving a long sermon. Right? And you can see after this, then they sit down and then he feed the miracle of feeding heaven. And that is the narrow gate. Now, what happened is that's not only you sacrificing your will, but also you will find oppositions. So that's what happened. Not only him getting out of his comfort zone, which he should have taken some time to sleep. He was not sleeping, he was preaching. And then he found himself some other people in the middle that was ready to judge him. So it was a tough life he was dealing with. And that's what the narrow gate is, right? You're not going to be, the moment you put yourself in that mindset that he said, that is the law and the prophet, everything, the whole powers of hell will break on you. And they will try to come and get you. And it's not going to be easy. Now, imagine what it is. Let's just try to imagine to get to a narrow gate, right? You're going to have to squeeze in, and imagine it's suffocating your chest, and you're like, just trying to get in. Sometimes you have to, you have scratches on your skin because you're just trying to make it. And sometimes you find yourself, in between the gate, and you can't even go forward or backward, and you just say, I need to get out. That's exactly what he's trying to explain. If you want to follow his steps, it's not going to be as simple, unfortunately, that's what he's saying. It's not going to be as simple as an open gate where you just, Jesus is there, and let me jump in and go. There's going to be a fight. However, we have an assurance that it's a fight that we can win. Jesus did it. That's just a good example. Although they sacrificed him, they killed him, he still did it. And that's the way that leads to life. Now, this is going to play differently in every single person. To Jesus, it led to the cross. But to us, the cross may mean a whole different story. Right? The cross may mean our spouses. It could be anyone that we will have to be patient, kind, and submit ourselves into try to upgrade or help this person's life. And then at the end, at the end of this, as you go, it says, beware of the false prophet, which come you as a sheep clothing, but inwardly they are revealing wolf. But then jumping it all in the verses 19, he said, as a conclusion of all what was happening, he said, and it came to pass when Jesus ended this saying, the people were astonished at his doctrine. So people could not understand why he said that the law and prophet is simply these two sentences. Do unto others what you want it to be done unto you. And then there's another thing they say. For he told them, as one having authority and not as the scribes. Oh my God, who are the scribes? And then we realize the scribes were what today we would call scientists, the experts of the matter. The scribes were those people who knew the law and the prophet, right? The ones who, like, if you want to understand the Bible, they're the ones who will be coming and teaching. The problem is Jesus, as you can see here, he taught them as one having authority and not as the scribe. He did not teach a thing that was a popular and a common knowledge. And it's true. And if somebody today say, hey, if you do good, you're going to struggle. You'll have opposition. That's not common. People think, okay, if I do good unto this person, that means good will come unto me back. If I do this act of generosity, that means God will bless my family later on. Well, that's not what narrogate is. Usually the devil hates those ones who are trying to be good or do good. So that is what it is that Jesus is teaching. Now, there's also one thing that precedes this teaching that is important to notice. Before he said a lot of things such as, who out of you, your son asked you for bread and you give him a stone? And then he said, wouldn't your father give you more than what you need? So basically he's saying, I know all your needs. I know everything you've gone through. Although it seems that I'm not responding to you, I know what you're going through, right? I may not answer you right now, but I know that allowing you to go through this, it may help you for your ultimate good, which is your eternal salvation. And I want to conclude one thing. There was a man in the Bible here who came to Jesus and said, good master, what can I do what else can I do? And then Jesus said, do you know the law and the prophet? And he was like, oh, I did this, I gave food, I did all these good things. Then Jesus said, okay, go sell, and the man went sad because he's like, oh no, I thought I did everything right. But the thing is, he missed the principle. And the principle, this is what Jesus said. The principle is simple. Whatever you want to be done unto you, do unto others, because this is the thing that leads you to heaven. As long as your intention, your mind is genuinely thinking of the other person's need, you are a candidate of a citizen of heaven, regardless of what you may go through in this planet. And this is the message I wanted to share with you guys. Thank you so much.
Amen.